So, good day. My name is Kit Russell Bilacuna, and for today's video, I'm gonna be recording my prelim activity 3 first React application. So let's now start. Let's go to Visual Studio. So first, I'm gonna be explaining the app that uses. So in this app, this is our main component. So in this activity, I'm including three components. So first here in this line, so we are importing the app CSS, so we can access the CSS, so we can design. And then next is the header. This is our first component, so header, which includes the logo and the name of the school. And then second is the student info, which those name, year level, course, and school. And then the this import biography. So for the biography, short biography. So we import these components. So we import these library components so that we can use them in this parent class. And we can retrieve and insert. So first, we define a function here. So this is our we define a function up, and for the first one the this header. So we calling this. This is from the component. So from this, so we are calling the component so that we can output whatever inputted in that particular components. Then second, here we have the components for the student. So as you can see here, as you can see, so we are calling the student, but at the same time we are inputting some data. So we have here a variable or a attribute name. So we are storing. So in this attribute name or variable, we are storing some data. For example, the name we're storing Russell Lacuna. For the course, we're storing information technology. For the year level, we are storing fourth year, and then for the school, we're storing SMC illegal. So we're storing this information. So storing this information in the parent. So later on in the child, for later in the child components, this data will be used. Next is the short biography. Same as the student. We are putting a variable at our attribute name here, value, and then we are inserting a value in it. So now let's now proceed to the first component, so the header. So for the header, we just input here the logo of the school, and then the name of the school. So we're just inputting the logo of the school and the name of the school. For the as you can see, we don't have so only this. We put the function header, and then we just input the logo and the so and also we export default header so that these components will be used throughout the application, or will be used in throughout the application. It will be available. Next is let's now proceed to the student for the student. So for the student is we use so for the student is we declaring a function named student, and then we have props. So what is props? So basically the props is the properties. So basically what happened here is in our there, well because we inserted data, we create a variable and then its value. What happened here is this value will be directed to the object. So it will be inserted to a single object. So what happened here is instead of declaring one by one, declaring one by one here, so we declare the name, the course, your level of school. Instead of declaring there, so what we are doing is we wrap up the we wrap up all we wrap up all the object here. We wrap up all the object into a single object. That's why we use props. So this props contains all the variable and the its value. So next is we just put now by the way the information is I put it in table. I put it in table. So in table, so we have a table head, name, course, year, level, and school, and then also here. This is the main function of the prop. So instead of putting the all the object here. So what we're doing, we are putting it in a single object. So what happened here is from props, we're calling a particular variable or particular attribute's name. So for the prop, so we call a particular name, so we call the name. So we call a particular variable, then same as the course. So we're calling the course, we call the year level, and we call the school. So what happened here? If we call the props, we call the props, props that name. So it will be outputted the this Kit Russell Laguna. So this is because the under the variable name, it has a value Kit Russell Laguna. So same as the course, it will be input the course, and then all the value that being here will be inserted depending on its variable. Then also we export default student so that this this component will be available throughout the application. The next is we have a bio, the bio. So for the bio, and also same as the student info, so we also use the props here so that we can call the so it makes a single object, and then we also put it here a props that bio. So we're calling the from this object so this object contains the value of the bio, the bio. So it contains the variable and the value. So what happened here is we call the props, and then we are calling the uh specific variable named bio. So it will be inputted the bio, and also we export it so that it will be available throughout the application. And then next is we also change a particular in especially in CSS. So our apta CSS, so here in body, so when we the font family, we use Arial jump, and then the background is white, and then for the paragraph, so we put a black color for the school. So this is particular in header. So we put school. So for the class name, so we specify the CSS into blue color for the color of the font and the font size and the margin, and also for the H1. So the H1, especially here in AppJSS, the H1 here, the H1 will be in color blue, and then the font size is 30. And for the image in header, for the image in header, we for the image in header, we put it in margin 20, and then the width at 200 pixels, and then height auto for the also stood. So this is from the table. So in the table we put div, and then we call the class names. We also have design for that. So display flex so that it will be centered, justify content, and align items. So it will become all centered and will be shattered. So next is we have TH and TD, table head and table data. So for table head, we color that into blue, and then font size 20. And then for table data, we color it black, and then padding 20 for content. So the content, I believe it includes in the of the GS. So here for the content, so we included a for the content we included the width of the card. The width of the card is 60%. So we put also a border for the card, 3 pixels, and the color is blue. We also put padding, margin, and then the border reduced on 30px, and text align, justify, and then margin for the bio or biography. Then the HR. So we also put HR here. You put it here to have a divider between the solid information and then the short biography. And yeah, it have 95% width. Then now let's now proceed to the output. Let's now proceed to output. So first I'm gonna do in command prompt. So we run this npm run dev, so that we can use. So we just copy this one, and then let's put that here. So as you can see, this is my output. So the logo. So we have here the logo. the school name, and then the student information. So this is the content of the thesis. So as you can see, it has radius and then the color is blue. And then this is the so for this so the information. So because we use table, so this is the alignment. So for the table, so name, course, year level, school, and then the information. So and then the information coming the information coming from the parent component. So here, Kita Laguna, University of Technology, fourth year, SMC Iligan, and for the short biography. And also, this is the one I went for the HR. So for the HR. So this is my prelim activity 3, first check application, and thank you for watching.